Okay. It's always a little hard to pull people back from lunch, but we'll keep filtering in, I'm sure. I hope you enjoyed a quick sandwich or salad, delicious food there. And we appreciate you, again, just being here and being with us today. So I'm just going to tout Max Connect just really quickly before I hand it over to Derek. Max Connect has been a premier digital partner with Google for 10 plus years. We have a dedicated team at Google. So last year the stats were out of 70,000 agencies in the United States, there's 17,000 Google partners. Out of the 17,000 Google partners, 215 of them have a dedicated team at Google, and we're one of those. So we've loved them coming out to our summits over the last several years, and when we had a conversation with Derek, it's funny, we had the conversation, Derek, and Phil and I were texting each other as we were talking to you, and we said, we'll give Derek as much time as he wants. Sometimes we put a time constraint on, but we're like, Derek knows what he's talking about. We're so excited to have him here. So Derek is a digital, AI strategist, AI business strategist at Google. He's going to talk to us about paid search and other things. He's also going to do a live demo for us, which will be pretty fun. So with that, Derek, I'd ask you just maybe start with an introduction of yourself, but first, if you can give him a warm round of applause, and then I'll hand it over to Derek.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's great to be here. My name's Derek. I've been at Google for about 8 years. I give talks about AI, what businesses should be thinking about, how they should be thinking about their media. I'm also a dad, very proud girl dad. I also have one very sick plant, or I had one very sick plant at home. Who raises plants? Who has plants? You ever killed a plant? All the time. You're probably a better arborist than I am. I want to introduce you to George. So I have 2 daughters. I have a 4-year-old and I have an 18-month-old. When we had our 4-year-old, we started to nest. So we did the apartment, we got a plant, had to get a great plant. We got this plant. When I first got this plant, I thought it was a banana tree. Does anyone know what this plant is? This is not a banana tree. This is a corn plant. I learned that from Gemini. I also learned that from Gemini when he was very sick. I had to do a lot to kind of get him back recovered. What you are noticing now is he's actually recovering. So let's roll it back about 3 weeks. George was not looking well. He started to have a lot of brown leaves. He was drooping. He had this sideways slant that he was having. So I was curious, like, what do I need to do about this? So I talked to Gemini. And Gemini walked me through all these problems. I was like, what is wrong with my banana plant? Gemini said, well, first thing, that's a corn plant. You must be sure that it's a corn plant. So he corrected me there. And then we walked through what could possibly be going wrong here. And what I did is I used the Gemini app, and because it's multimodal, you're able to take a picture, you're able to talk to it, and then examine it. So what Gemini and I were able to understand is that George had root rot. So my plant owners, is root rot good or bad? Very bad. Root rot is something that will immediately kill a plant. So I had to go through the process of repotting George one Sunday. I have never repotted a plant. Every plant that I've had, I've killed. But we had to keep George alive. And my 4-year-old would not have ever forgiven me if George didn't make it. So I went through this whole process with Gemini. We understood what we needed to do. I had to repot it. Had to get new soil. We had to get a new pot for him. I had overwatered him, so we had to figure out a new water regimen. And we had to go basically to the local plant store to figure out what do I need to buy to get George the new soil, the new home, and get him transferred over. So thankfully, George is doing much better now. This is a recent photo of George. So let's check in with Gemini and see how George is doing. So we're going to do Gemini Live. We're going to turn on the camera, and we'll have Gemini take a look. Hey, Gemini, how is this plant doing now?
It looks like some of the leaves are drooping and turning brown. That could be caused by a few things, like not enough water or too much direct sunlight. Are you able to tell what kind of plant it is?
So I originally thought it was a banana plant. I believe it's a corn plant. Is that correct?
That's a great guess. It does look like a Dracaena fragrans, often called a corn plant, because the leaves resemble corn leaves. The drooping and browning could be due to watering, either too much or too little.
So we just went through a repotting of George. That's the name of this plant. And he seems to be doing better. That was about 3 weeks ago. What's your assessment of George? What should I be looking for to know that George is in good health?
It's great that George is doing better. Typically, with corn plants like George, you'll want to see new green leaves sprouting from the top, and the existing leaves should be firm and vibrant. Make sure the soil isn't too waterlogged and that he's getting bright, indirect light.
Okay, so you get the idea. Pretty cool, huh? It's a pretty cool demo. So I like that one. That's a personal one to me. I like to talk about that when I'm demoing and talking about the tools because it's very hard to connect back with the consumers when we want to make sure we're connecting with consumers. At Google, we talk about being customer zero. So what that means to us is we use our product, we use it all the time. So me and Jim and I have been talking about George for several weeks now. George is in recovery from what I believe. There are new growth at the top of the plant. What we'll do is I'll take photos every couple days and say, how's it looking, how's it looking? Because I want to water George, and Gemini says, stop. You're going to kill it again. Don't do that. So Gemini's been very helpful. All right, great. So I want to walk you through kind of how we think about multimodal, what that means, and I have a video for you I want to share.
Let's see how a next-gen agent can hopefully help me get this last order correct. We're going to start a brand new voice interaction with our agent here.
So this is an example of what a business
Hi there.
would
Welcome
do
to
with
Simple
an
Home and
agent to
Garden.
support a customer.
Is this Patrick?
Hey, yeah, this is Patrick. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you too, Patrick. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. It looks like you've been shopping with us recently. I see you have a few things in your cart already. What can I help you with today?
Yeah, so I just bought some plants, and I'm trying to pick out potting soil and fertilizer, and I'm not sure if I'm getting the right stuff. Could you help me with that?
I can definitely help with that, Patrick. To give you the best recommendations, could you show me the plants you bought? I can take a look and help you choose the best soil and fertilizer. I'm sending a video request to your browser now. Great, I can see you. Just hold the plants up to the camera so I can help identify them.
Yeah, so I have about 40 of these in various different colors.
Those are beautiful petunias. They're a great choice for vibrant color. Let me take a closer look at the items in your cart. Okay, I see you have standard potting soil and general purpose fertilizer. That could work, but petunias really thrive in a rich, well-draining soil and a fertilizer specifically for flowering plants. Okay, I've found some recommendations for your petunias.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at these now. They look fantastic. Thanks.
Great! Would you like me to remove the standard potting soil and general purpose fertilizer and add the Bloom Booster potting mix and Flower Power fertilizer to your cart?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, I've updated your cart. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
I mean, not unless you can come over and plant these for me.
Funny you should mention that. We actually do offer professional landscaping services. Would you be interested in a quote?
Yeah, I mean, how much would something like that cost?
For planting 40 petunias, I would suggest a 4-hour appointment, which would come out to $200.
Okay, so you get the idea. Imagine you're a business, you run a plant shop, and you've now sold someone some potting soil, and you've just made an upsell. There's no headcount there. That's your agent working for you. So I've given you two examples here. I give you a very personal consumer example, and I give you an example of how businesses approach this. This is what search is going to look like in the future.
Let's see how a next-gen...
Let's flip past it. But I think before we talk about the future, let's talk about kind of how far we've come. When we think about AI, it is something so fundamentally different. We are at an inflection point. And I think it's important to recognize you're not late. So if you're not using it right now and you want to be using it, this is the right amount of time to jump in. There's plenty of tools, plenty of education, great partners like Max Connect that can help you. They'll show you what they're up to. Google loves to share kind of what we're up to, how we use it internally, what the different offerings are. But it's something very much in the now. So when we think about AI, we think about it on the same level as the printing press, electricity, automobiles, the internet. It's something where it's a disruption to people's lives, and it comes with a lot of change and a lot of new skills that people have to learn to figure it out. So we think about the future of search. We think about how the consumer is changing, how their habits are changing, how they approach it differently. And it's something that we should all be aware of as marketers and also consumers ourselves, what the opportunity is. And it's moving so rapidly. It's something where, like I said, you do need to make sure you're jumping in and kind of being present with it. We'll talk a little bit later today about things you should think about, takeaways, et cetera. If I can leave you with one right now, test. If you're not testing, start testing. Very easy to do. Get your head around kind of what the tools are. Start playing with it as a consumer. Start using it for your business. Figure out what works. Moment of vulnerability. Does anybody want to share an AI moment that they've had recently? What made them a believer?
I fully automated one of my clients' weekly emails.
Can you say it one more time, please?
I've 90% automated one of my clients' email lists, about 4 emails a week with micro emails around drops to add to that.
That's awesome. What was the impact?
About average $500 an email and sending 20 emails a month.
That's great. Excellent. Anyone else? Any other examples?
So his was positive, mine is negative. My water bottle opened up in a waterproof bag with my laptop and iPad and completely destroyed them. And it was so frustrating. I was on vacation and I'm getting on a cruise ship, so I had to go buy a computer and I've got to figure out how to do it. And I know I would have spent 3 or 4 hours calling customer service, trying to figure out what I can do. Is it even worth it? And I just threw it in AI and it gave me a very thorough, yeah, you're probably screwed. And it was right, but like it at least walk through, you can try this, don't do this. And it was like 20 minutes and everybody's dealt with customer service snafus. It was amazing how quickly it helped.
That's awesome. Great.
Did it suggest a really big bag of rice to send?
It said that there's a better way.
Okay, great. Any others?
Cool. Well, those are 2 great examples. I'm a gamer, and there's a new game out. It's called Marathon. I've been playing a lot of it. Crashes all the time. I hope they don't see this. Copilot helped me figure out what was the problem. What I need to go do on my system to get it sorted out, stop crashing. So it's a great tool. It's a great resource. When we talk about what is Google's place in all of this, we've been here since the beginning. I think there's a moment where people point to when ChatGPT hit the market and everyone said, oh, Google's on their back foot. Is this the end of search? Is this the end of Google? People forget that we were there at the beginning. We've been working through this. These are our papers. This is our research. We really have the full stack. So when we talk about AI, we are talking about it from a point of knowledge and a point of research, deep research into it. When I say like we have the full stack, what I'm talking about is we are building the products, we're building the platforms that use these tools. We're also building these models. So we have DeepMind as a part of Alphabet. They build out the models. We have world-class Nobel Prize winning researchers that work with us, and we also make our own chips. Not a lot of companies, I don't think any other companies, frankly, can say that. So when we talk about AI, Google really has that full stack and the approach, and the value of this is we're able to go to market quickly. When we make a change, it gets pushed out, we're able to test it, and then it arrives in the marketplace, and you guys see the great products on the other side. There's a lot of other great things that DeepMind's doing. I want to give you a little preview of it. We'll get into the future of search, but I think there's a lot of just interesting stuff to be aware of. So let's talk about Gemini 3 just for a moment.
Gemini has been multimodal since the beginning. Our Gemini 1 models could see, hear, understand vast amounts of information, and natively generate across modalities. Gemini 2 took the next step with advanced reasoning, enabling AI agents to think, code, and take action. We're taking all of this to the next level with Gemini 3. Gemini 3 is the strongest model in the world for multimodality and reasoning. It's our most intelligent model that helps you bring any idea to life. Starting today, we're rolling out Gemini 3 in our products so you can experience it for yourself. In Google Search, Gemini 3 enables new kinds of generative user interfaces. It codes interactive simulations like this one, custom built for your search. In the Gemini app, you can use the vast range of Gemini 3 capabilities for all kinds of tasks. You could supercharge how you learn, create, plan, take action, analyze complex videos, and more. You could start building with Gemini 3 Pro, available in the API today. We're even introducing a new platform, Google Anti-Gravity. It's our vision of software development at the frontier of model intelligence. It lets you use Gemini 3's agentic coding capabilities to accelerate how you build. The rollout of our Gemini 3 series will continue in coming weeks. We'll be introducing models with new features across different modalities and more model sizes. This is just the beginning of our Gemini 3 series.
All right, so you don't need to know about anti-gravity. As marketers, there's lots of here that's great to work with. Anti-gravity, really more for programmers, but it's important to know about it and be aware of it. And when we think of all the great work that's going into building these models out, we're building for everyone. Building for programmers, we also use our own stuff. Sundar was actually just giving a talk literally today. He posted on LinkedIn about it a little bit earlier today about how, it's Google Cloud Next is happening today, about how 75% of our coding is being happened on Gemini. It used to be 50%, that was back in the fall. So we use our own stuff. And when you think about all the other tools, I think VO is an interesting one to point to. Who's familiar with VO? A couple hands, okay. Okay, great. So VO is a generative AI video builder. What does that mean? You give it a prompt, it will make a video for you. Isn't that cool? Isn't that neat? So for example, you can give it some images. We can give it a picture of a person. We can give it some clothes for her to wear. We can give her a location. That can result in a video. These are tools marketers and brands can use to build their story, go to market quickly, iterate. This is a great idea and a great way to test. If you want to have a new concept, go to market with it, get some learnings, here you go. Other ways you can use VO. 2 pictures. So you had that front picture of the beginning of the barn and then the horse in the back. It's now created a whole sequence out of just 2 prompts. A third example for you. Say your image is too small and you want to make it bigger. You extend it out. Add more to it. So these are just examples. I want to share another one with you around robotics. I think this is incredible. We talk about, what is the future going to look like? How do all these models kind of play together? One point of context to know here is that when we talk about Gemini, it is the same Gemini used across everything. So Gemini for robotics, Gemini that's going to be used for creating VO, Gemini that's used in the models there, Gemini that's used in Google Ads, and all those platforms is all the same. We're all singing off the same sound sheet. So let's take a look at this.
Earlier this year, we brought Gemini's multimodal understanding to the physical world with Gemini Robotics, allowing robots to behave in interactive, dexterous, and general ways. Previously, robots could complete one task per instruction.
Previous Gemini Robotics version has been tested over and over and over again to put this banana into the bowl. This is a very simple task.
Today, we've reached a new milestone. We're introducing Gemini Robotics 1.5, a new family of models to power the next generation of physical agents. Now, for the first time, they can solve longer, multi-step challenges, like taking the banana test a step further.
So I'm going to make the task slightly more challenging. So this is Gemini Robotics 1.5. Aloha, could you sort these fruits into color matching plates?
Sure, I can certainly help you do that. Put the green fruit into the green plate.
We enable it to think. It can perceive the environment. It will think step by step and then finish this multi-step task.
Put the banana into the yellow plate.
Although this example seems very simple, the idea behind it is really powerful. The same model is going to power more sophisticated robots like a humanoid to do more complicated daily tasks.
Hi, Apollo. Can you help me sort my laundry, please?
Sure, I can help with that.
Put whites in white bins and the darks in the dark bin. Beautiful, okay. And then I can now switch this up on it. Sorry, Apollo. And it knows that I have done that and it will react. So you can see the whole flow of its thoughts here and it's thinking every time it acts.
Gemini Robotics 1.5 can break a broad task down, think, and then take action over a number of steps. And through improved embodied reasoning, the model can now understand its environment more clearly and figure out what to do next to complete the task.
Hey Aloha, let's play a game. So I have a scene in front of you. I'm gonna make some secret changes. You'll have to figure out what they are and then reset the scene back to the original state. Can you reset the scene, please?
Based on the changes, I need to close the laptop, Close the glasses case, put the green pen back in the brown tray, and place the red and blue pens back into the black mesh holder. The scene has been restored to its original state.
Thank you, Aloha. If we change these objects completely, brought in new ones, swapped them out, if they look very different, that wouldn't matter at all to Gemini. It understands generalizing to the open world of objects and scenes.
New agentic capabilities mean Gemini Robotics 1.5 can use the internet to answer questions and solve problems.
Hi, Aloha. Can you use my location and sort the objects into the correct compost, recycling, and trash bins?
To perform the sorting task based on San Francisco waste guidelines, I will use the green bin for compost, the blue bin for recycling, and the black bin for trash. The task is complete.
Good job, thanks.
It's a pretty wild example. You see what it did there? It was able to understand the local guidelines for how that trash needed to be sorted, and then did it. All right, I show these examples because I think it's important to demonstrate the power behind Gemini and the power that's going into the ads platform, and then what you have access to and what consumers have access to understand and do the things that they're looking to do. So, in the words of Sundar, we're still very early, and that's why I was saying earlier, like, you're not late. So if you're not testing, you're not behind. Just start. I would say start testing. There's lots you can do from a Google Ads platform standpoint. The PMAX Connect team can walk you through that. But there's a good moment now to kind of get into the weeds of it. And you say, all right, Derek, none of that really applies to me. I want to include this. These are case studies that are updated as of today, even. I was looking this morning. There's some new ones already in there that'll give you an idea of what you can be building out for your organization from an AI perspective. So snap a screenshot. I'll send with the team. You can have it afterwards as well. All right, great. So search. Let's get into search. I think that was a great preamble to give the background and the context for how things truly have changed from a technology standpoint and how that's now integrated into Google across different platforms. So search is our greatest moonshot. What did we set out to do from the beginning way back when? The ultimate search engine would understand exactly what you meant and give you back exactly what you want. What did that robot do? Did exactly that. So when we think about search, the definition of a search engine really has changed, and what consumers are getting really has changed. Like, we are getting to a very much more perfect state of what search can look like in the future. So when we think about kind of what search began as and kind of where it's going, we're definitely on that road, and we're definitely getting there with AI and with Gemini and the tools that we have access to. There were two words I want to make sure we just understand the vocabulary around that were in the previous content. Agentic was one, and multimodal. So multimodal, all that means is it's ingesting information in different sources. So when we take pictures, when we give text, when we talk to it, that's multimodal. And from a very simple sense, it's able to understand all those different things. And that's how consumers are going to be interacting with our tools and the different platforms. Agentic is it will go and do things for you on your behalf when you give it the right permissions. I'll give you a demo on Agentic in just a little bit. Cool. So when you think about it, Google search is evolving, as I was saying. We're seeing many, many, many more searches than we were before. It's an adoption we see across all generations. Gen Z, they're heavy users of search, more queries each day than any other age group. In 2025, we shipped a lot of new tools, a lot of new resources. Prior to all that new shipping, there was a lot of concern in the marketplace that Google was dead. There's a good quote in here. It's like, oh, is AI killing Google search? It might be done. It might be doing the opposite. The one I really like, though, is this one. Turns out the AI Google killer is actually Google. So we were a little late to come out because I think it's something where we're quite conservative with our tools. We want to make sure it works as well as it possibly could for consumers. ChatGPT comes out, and then Google kind of had to respond to that. And then there was a year, 2 years of some catch-up you saw in the marketplace, but then you definitely see now, we're not slowing down. There's a lot more that we can do and we are doing. We struck a deal with Apple earlier this year that Gemini will become the default and revamp Siri. We've added new AI features to Gmail. You'll see it all over the platform. AI mode, we'll talk a lot about that in just a moment. So there's lots and lots and lots of great things to think about from a Google perspective. And we still are there's so much use of our tools. 2 billion people use all of our whole suite every day. If you can name it, so we'll go left to right, Gmail, search, YouTube, when it comes back around. I think I also saw, Maps, Chrome, the Play Store, and then Android. People are using our products every single day. We see 5 trillion searches annually. And it's not just Google, it's also YouTube. When we think about what people are doing, they're searching, they're streaming, they're scrolling, they're shopping. These are all areas where you can interact with your consumer and making sure that you, your brand, are having the right touch points. It really is giving users superpowers. It's making them rethink how they can go to market, how they can think about the way that they look for stuff. They have a lot more tools and options to them to meet the things that they're trying to do. So a few ways to think about this. So AI mode, we'll talk a little bit about. Project Mariner is something where users can then go use these things and these tools to get stuff done. Literally replace the workflows that they would be doing with an AI. They can search for things live. It gives them a more natural approach to the way that they think and they talk. So we've moved past the caveman search queries of what is this, or help me with that, and into very specific, very relevant, complex questions we can ask into Google to get answers back, either through AI mode, through AI overviews, et cetera. So we are able to go a lot deeper and help consumers out with what they're actually looking for, what their actual intent is. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is the intent. Where is a consumer in their current journey? What are they trying to do? How do we capture the right intent, the right person at the right time, so it's the most effective ROI for you all? This is a great stat. AI overviews in AI mode, users are able to make decisions 77% faster and more confidently by using these types of tools. And again, multimodal, so they're able to do a lot of different things to find the information they're looking for. They're able to ask it, they're able to type it in, they're able to say it, they're able to snap it, which is a picture, they're able to film it. We have circle to search. We're actually seeing 25 billion queries a month for Lens, which is a wild way to think. It's such a change in how users interact with search. They're literally pointing their camera at stuff, able to find it. So you're out, you see a jacket, a shirt you like, take a picture of it. You can find it.
I can't help it if I'm up and see them watch like it's outrageous how this flavor got him shook like. Hold up. I feel fabulous. Show me how you go work it out. I hit it bad with a brand new style. Bring it up into the floor, get wild. We turning up all the way on the down like work it out. Come and show me what you're all about.
What else should I do to make it stronger?
To make it stronger, consider adding more triangles to the design.
So the question I was going to ask then, all right, so they're not searching anymore. Why would I buy ads? Wrong. They are searching. They're searching more. They're searching more than ever. People are using the LLMs to figure out what they need, but we're also seeing a significant increase in search queries. So search is more important than ever to make sure that you're connecting with your consumers. So it's not something that we're moving away from. People are using it all at the same time. We think about how our search results are powered by AI. Again, the queries are more helpful, they're more tailored, they're very specific. we can get kind of a reimagined experience. I'll walk through a demo in just a minute, but I want to really drive this home that people are finding better information tied back to the intent of what they're actually looking for. We talked about Google Lens. Here's just an example of what that looks like, and the circle to search as well. So you could literally be out in public, you see something like I said, and now you're able to find it online. This is all live now. You can try it. So I recommend it. Go play with it, get your phones out, use it, download it, give it a whirl. You'll find it obviously on Google when you navigate to the Google page, but you can also use the Gemini app if you want to do that instead. Both are fine. All right, cool. AI Overview is something we launched recently. One of the most successful launches we've had. We have over 2 billion monthly users across the globe that are using AI Overviews, which is incredible. All right, let me speed along just a little bit. I want to get to the demo. So we're going to go through AI mode. Let's go right now. All right, so with all demos, there is the chance that they don't work. So we're going to clap if it works, and we're going to clap if it doesn't. All right, great. So I want to get tickets. I'm a Giants fan. I don't know if we talked about this yet. Big Giants fan. I want to get tickets to the Giants next season. Where can I buy tickets? All right, so while that's cooking, let's come back. Here we go. All right, great. So here we go. Just what I wanted. We're going to have to start the test. So when I talk about agentic, this is what this actually truly is. It's going to help me go find tickets. It's going to figure out what are the best tickets, what are the cheapest tickets for what I'm looking for. Might take a few minutes. Let's come back to it in just a second. I also want to plan a little trip. So let's say, we don't know the schedule yet. Let's find out. Let's see what the schedule is. Let's see if it's out. Let's see, 26, 27, Giants schedule. Let's see. Okay, I want to go to that Dallas Cowboys game with the Giants. Let's do this. It's hard to type at the same time, so excuse me. Where can we get food? Before the game. All right, so while I was thinking about that, let's go back here. Oh, we're still working on it. All right, see, this is a problem with live demos. It's still thinking about it. Let me show you one I pulled up earlier so we can get the example. Let's see. I had it figure out for me tickets to the Phoenix Suns game. And so I was able to figure out, okay, here are the next tickets. Here's where you can go. I had it start the task of figuring out where I could buy the tickets for me. It went through the different options. It gave me some things to think about. What's my best value? Where are my cheapest tickets? Where do I want to sit, et cetera, et cetera. And then it gives me a place to exit out and go purchase those tickets. So it's helping me plan that trip. Let's see if it figured it out for the Giants yet. Oh, here we go, perfect. Okay, great. So, season tickets. It's helping me figure out where can I get the tickets, where can I buy them from, where would be the best game to go to, et cetera, et cetera. All right, and then from there, I can actually go purchase my tickets, and now I've done something. Let's see if it figured out. Dinner. Great, let's give me some locations. What I can then go ask it to do is make a reservation for me. So we started doing that in a different tab, just for the sake of example. So I let it know that I was going to be in Salt Lake City tonight, and I wanted to get dinner somewhere. I wanted to make reservations for me. So I gave it the prompt, it ran through it, gave me some different ideas of where I could go eat, and then it can go through and actually book it for me. I had it paused here because I didn't want actually to make the reservation, but you get the idea So these are things that Google can help with, Gemini can help with, AI Overview can help with, AI Mode can help with, getting consumers from point A to point B. So if I want to buy tickets, if I want to buy clothes, if I want to make reservations and plan events and trips, etc. These are all things that consumers can do when they're searching to get more information and then actually go. Like, this is the agentic side of it all. If I want to follow through with this, I can easily exit out, go purchase my tickets. I can then say, all right, this will be the game that I'm going to go to, and then I can work on making a reservation, my full game plan. One thing to think about here, too, is you might have seen it, was that personalization. I flagged it up here, yeah. So what is that? What is personalization? It's something you turn on. And so when you have a conversation with Gemini, you're having a conversation over a period of time. So when I talk about George to Gemini, it knows where we left off. It knows what the plan was from a watering perspective. It knows that I might be too early and I shouldn't be watering it yet. I need to wait till Saturday, the date that we both agreed on, Gemini and I, about when to water my plant. So it has the ability to go and tap into your Gmail, tap into your schedule, tap into your calendar, tap into your history, and understand more about you so it can give you a better recommendation about the things that you want and the things you're trying to do, which I think is pretty cool. What do we think? Neat? Seeing some head nods. All right, cool. Very good. All right, cool. So that's the demo. But go try it. I think it's something worth playing around with. It really is life-changing. I'm a better plant dad to George than I would say I've been in the past. So this is what we just did. We went through this event ticket flow as well, and then we did something similar from a restaurant reservation. These are both things you can go do right now if you're looking to plan a trip, go somewhere, go see a show. It's great for research. I'll tell you an anecdote. I was planning a trip for my family and I to Huntington Beach, and I was trying to figure out what's the best value I can get on my credit card points, my Chase Sapphire points. It was able to figure out and work with me to note that if I were to change my points over to Hyatt points, I would get 3x the value. It was such a good deal. When I called the hotel to say, hey, do you still have this opening, this reservation for this particular room? Can I get it? They realized, oh, wait a minute, no, we should have actually blocked that off. Gemini was able to figure an incredible deal for me, and that if I had just taken advantage of it, I could have booked a very cheap trip. So it's something where you can rely on and use it in very different ways, and that's where consumers are going. They're thinking about how they should be searching, how they should be using all this information to go deeper into topics that they care about. So deep search is something you may have heard, or deep research if you're using Gemini for it. You go quite detailed into the thing that the consumer is looking for and can give a lot of great information about that particular thing. So when we just did it for the Giants tickets, it was able to tell me when they're going on sale, who's selling them, what could be a good place to sit on the field. You can have a whole conversation about it as you plan your trip out. Same thing goes for the reservations if we're looking to make a dinner appointment. The personal context was what I was just talking about from my experience with George. You can turn this on. You can always turn this on right now if you're interested in using it. You'll get that history. You'll get the knowledge of the full Google suite of where your Gmail is plugged in, your calendar, et cetera, so it can start making recommendations based on that too. And it will recognize kind of where you've been and what you've talked to it already about, which is pretty incredible. So you're a business. How do you take advantage of this? Like, what should you be doing? Think about all this new intent that your customers can, all the intent that you can get from your customers as they're searching, as they think about what they're looking to do. When you look at your website, do you have the right information that can be picked up on this? Are you thinking about it from the perspective of, if I were to help my customer understand these problems, do I have an agentic bot on my site that could be helpful for them? Am I making opportunities for my brand to connect with them? So what could I be doing differently? And these are things you can test, you can play around with. But you want to focus on the user, and then everything else is really going to follow behind that. The user is really setting the tone and the pace for which they're going to be adopting and using these tools. This is something that they do care about. We do see that they're using it. So it's important to kind of meet them where they are. Your biggest opportunity is going to be really capturing this new expanded search universe. Again, we saw earlier that when people are searching and they're using these tools, they're not sequestering themselves off to the tools. They are still searching normally. So there's lots here, lots of additional searches you can be taking advantage of. And we're seeing that younger people are the heaviest users of Google search right now. So it's not something you should be walking away from. It's something you should be leaning more into from a content perspective, from a creative perspective. And Google has all these great tools that we can help and support you on. So think about it as the Gemini advantage. That'll be your ROI advantage as you think about how you can improve, how you go to market. Either it's creative, is it the agentic tools, how you reach your consumers, et cetera. There's lots you can take advantage of. Again, as I was saying earlier, even when demand is generated elsewhere, we still see people coming back to Google search, to evaluate, do discovery, figure out what they're trying to do. 81% of social media users are still using Google search. So it's something you definitely want to make sure is a part of your plan. All right, so after this, I know you're going to go into some breakout sessions. I want to leave you some questions, some ways to think about what you should be talking about from a Google perspective, what you can ask your teams. So were you collecting first-party data? How were you using it? How can you set yourself up to use that with AI to gather new insights? How are you measuring? All these things and all these things you're recommending from a testing perspective, what are you measuring? And what is the impact you're looking to get out of it? I think that's a great place to begin. What's your process for testing AI? What does success look like? How are you going to test it? Different workflows, et cetera. Give yourself the grace to understand that this is still very new, but then also how you should be thinking about putting it in the market, and then refine it. When you test something, you shouldn't be just testing it once. You should continue to test. And then how are you using AI to generate ideas? How are your teams using it? How are they thinking about it? Are you using it to increase asset variety? Are you using it to redeploy budget towards other areas of the business that can be more effective and more efficient? There's lots of things that AI can do for you, and you want to think through what you can do with that new time, efficiency, ROI, et cetera. Cool. And then lastly, what is the tone and the pace that you're setting for your team? Are you encouraging them to use it in their own workflows? Something to think about. Like I said before, customer zero, we use these tools all the time. I'm a big advocate for Gemini. It actually saved a plant of mine, which I'm very grateful for. And then I use it internally. I teach internally about how people should be using AI tools. There's lots of great stuff. I didn't talk about it here, but Notebook LM is an excellent tool if you're looking to store information. It's Google developed for ways to kind of put notes and thinking together. But again, set the tone, set the standard, set the pace for your company and how you want everyone to be thinking about how they approach it. And with that, thank you. It was great to speak today. I hope that was helpful. I hope you learned something.